Big week in the world of the Conservative Party of Canada in terms of who's in, namely Peter MacKay, who's out, namely Rona Ambrose. What is your take on those two individuals and the choices they made, as well as other players in the Conservative race?
Well, I think Peter MacKay has basically been sharpening his knives basically since 2004, when Stephen Harper became leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, or 2003 it would have been. And I think that Rona Ambrose, who I like and respect a great deal, I think she saw the writing on the wall and understood that a lot of her popularity was because she was an effective and adequate interim leader. People looked at her and saw she was someone who wouldn't rock the boat. She'd be a stable hand. She was liked by everyone. I'm not sure that appeal would transfer into a leadership race. And I'm not sure that the media saying, oh, why can't all Conservatives be like Rona Ambrose, would transfer to if she were the leader. Similar to Peter MacKay. Right now, Peter MacKay is the media's favorite candidate. The second he's the leader, he'll be the new Hitler. This is what happens with Conservatives, is that the media says, oh, why can't they all be like X? And then once X is within a shot of victory, then all of a sudden they hate them like every other Conservative. I do think what's interesting, though, as I look at the candidates in the race right now, or those rumored to enter, is that there isn't thus far anyone who's going to be running to the right side of the party. I mean, Pierre is popular among a lot of red meat Conservatives, but he made a comment, according to La Presse, saying that not only would abortion legislation not come up under his leadership, he would ban his caucus from introducing even private members' bills on abortion. So this is now a pro-choice position that mirrors that of Justin Trudeau, which is that you cannot legislate on this issue, even as a private member, even as a backbencher. And I think this is really feeding into that idea the media has put forward that social conservatives are done. Well, Brad Trost in the last leadership race came in 4th place. They are a big chunk of this party, whether you like it or not. And so far, I'm not seeing a leadership candidate that's prepared to speak to them.
You know, Andrew, you raise a very good point, and it's this. Before we even start talking about who the next leader of the Conservative Party is, I think the discussion, especially as we head into the convention in June in Toronto, is to determine really what is the Conservative Party of Canada and what does it stand for and what are its values. I mean, I like the Conservative Party Stephen Harper lorded over when he was Prime Minister. I didn't like what I saw as the hoped-for regime of the Conservative Party under Andrew Scheer, which was almost liberal light. So, once, the convention gets closer to fruition, how do you see this party going, regardless of who the leader is?
You know, I cautioned a lot of people when the conservative movement, or parts of the conservative movement, were petitioning to get rid of Andrew Scheer, that they should be careful what they wish for in some respects. And because the social conservative groups were saying, we don't like Andrew Scheer because he's not socially conservative enough, the red Tory groups were saying, we don't like Andrew Scheer because he's too far right, he's too socially conservative. And I said to the SOCONs at the time, be careful, because you may align with the red Tories that Scheer's not the guy, but you're not going to win when it comes to choosing what's next if you feed into this narrative. So the media is convinced now that Andrew Scheer lost because he was too far right. So the incentive for any other leadership candidate is run to the middle, run to the left, because that's where the party is now. And that's a myth, but it's only going to be reinforced by whatever comes in the ashes of the Conservative Party, or whatever rises up. And you look at Aaron O'Toole, Peter MacKay, these are guys that I think are very capable, very qualified, but they're red Tory. They are red Tories, and that is going to be, I think, the flavor of the day through this leadership campaign, unless someone comes in and shakes this race up.
That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show, which is a show I do every day. I do a monologue, interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at premium.rebelnews.com.